Hello everybody, welcome back to From Rhythm to Algorithm. We continue on with our derivation, looking for our stabilizing theorem. We derive knowledge, like the word, the structure. Again, it's interesting that it's built know, now, know again, right? N-O, N-O-W, K-N-O-W. But I've gotten away from just pointing out the linguistical structure, the letter structure is obvious in all of these different words now. But if we change the syllability, the structure, the phonetics, the sound of knowledge, right? You add an ack, you get acknowledge, right? Sensorality is acknowledgement. Acknowledgement validates, right? If you go to school and then you graduate and you get a piece of paper, that is acknowledgement. If you walk into a room and someone talks to you, that is acknowledgement. If you're in a group of people and someone responds to your joke or your comment or your question, that is acknowledgement. When people refuse to acknowledge Brad's research, it doesn't validate you on a personal level. Again, not a red carpet, not some lavish lifestyle, but hey, I exist. Truly like we've used the analogy, it's not an analogy, but the analog of you take a kid, you put a blanket over his head, they pull the blanket off, and then all the people around him act like he doesn't exist. That's really what's happened to me my entire life, but it's not a game, it's not a joke, and I've never received acknowledgement, and acknowledgement allows you to form personality, self-identification. How you know and feel about yourself is empirically, you have to interact with other members of your species to form a sense of identity, and that all comes from acknowledgement. And so, knowledge, clearly the base of acknowledgement. What is the relationship of consistency and continuity? We have all of these discrete objects, so what is the continuous aspect? What is the consistent aspect? Right? Continuous, again, remember, we started, R2 was all energy. Nothing had any form. So all of the shape is, right, there was no movement in R2. So all of movement is new universally. And so you have discrete objects, but the thing that was continuous was this energy field. That energy condenses into mass. That information of energy is contained within the mass, and so you have absence, you have space, you have the ability to move. And so again, you're not moving through something, energy stabilized into mass, and so like there's just absence, I guess. We can definitely improve that statement more. But consistency and continuity, again, is kind of like vibration, right? It's a physical principle that's contained within other motion. Well, again, vibration is not motion, but there's a mass gap, so physical objects are not continuous. But we talk about things being continuous all the time, right? Like an individual life is continuous. If you're not dead, you've never not been you. And so particle, wave, continuous, discrete, it's just dynamic of both. What is the relationship, or what is, consistency and continuity in relationship to completeness and discreteness? Obviously, there's rhyming, linguistic similarity for completeness and discreteness. Again, we talked about this, a mass containing energy being self-contained, a system being self-contained. You have some amount of interaction with other systems. There are no closed systems, but you still have this element of completeness even when you have everything is open. Because that completeness closes, we're closing this proof. But it's not universal completeness, it's just local. Sensorality is serity. Serity, satire. Sensorality is satiricality. How does discreteness relate to dependence? Right? We're all independent objects, like there's a gap in our mass, but I can't learn to fly. No matter how much I could literally sit here and watch a bird and I can feel their tension path, but that's right where our shoulder blades and our upper arms went out into arms and not wings. And so, right, there's physical limits that are outside of, like, I can't fly. And so when you have discrete, there is no randomness, everything is connected, so there's some dependence that's non-zero always. Discontinuity is independent. So again, just trying to work out, again, finalize these big ideas for sensorality. Again, I've already done this entire process for speciality, and then again, but this is 7 years ago. So it's like that, it feels new almost, but it's not new. And like I said, I have that intuition, it doesn't go away. It's like riding a bike. And I just have to find the right question to ask. but it's torture. It's objectively torture. No one cares. Basicality is fundamental. Range is emergence. Personality is range, right? You're born, then you're nurtured, and the range of what you could become. I could be a doctor, I could be a movie star, I could just be a human being with constitutional rights. Obviously, that's never going to happen for me personally, but in general, it seems to be that if you just say sports a bunch of times in your life and don't actually think about anything, you can kind of live a life, I guess. And so your personality, again, is this validation, this acknowledgement of what you've become, of what you've done. I worked hard, I got a piece of paper, you're a college graduate. I cleaned the dishes, I made my bed, I'm a good son. You know, whatever your identity, whatever role you're trying to fulfill is. And personality is your range of existence, right? I'm a very versatile person. I can be a doctor and a dad. I can be a mailman and a dad, you know, whatever. Horror, horrible. It's horror, mate. I got on the tube, I went straight to Greg's, got a sausage roll, then went to Nando's, bruv. And it was just total horror, bruv. I don't know why I did that, but I did. Horrible is awful. Awful is disgusting, like my life. Sensorality is emotionality. Emotionality is feeling. Emoting is sensating, right? We haven't talked about emotion recently. So we just talk about it because all language is consistent. We just have to find this right question. Sensorality monitors. Monitoring is watching. Watching is seeing. So now again, I made the difference that or and er at the end of words is sentient versus non-sentient. Then we made the jump or inevitable realization that all language is articulated by sentient beings, so everything is personified. So what is and or? What is it? There's clearly a difference. What is it? Yeah, where are we at? So okay, so watching is seeing. And so right here, like vision, voir. Why is V? Again, why VIT, vibrational information thing? What does vision have to do with vibration? Because again, it's not like you're not seeing light. That is not the right word. It's light chirality. Now we're getting to another biological what the fuck word here in a second. But again, why is that all of these different languages have vision, voir? What's going on there? But now remember, a noun is a person, place, or thing. It's not specific enough. We need a noun is a thing, right? A thing is an object. So a thing is a noun. But again, we're making that exclusive, right? It's unique. It's some sort of unique connection. What is nounality? And so, right, you said a noun, but if you know something and you're known for knowing something, you're renowned, right? You're not renowned, you're renowned. And so what, again, linguistically, it's very clear the building of that. But then why, what preservation are we doing? Are we preserving there? Noun, a noun, announcer, you're renowned for announcing, right? So range is noun. All words are built on verbs, and our range are all the nouns. And so sensorality is a concept, but it's a noun, right? A noun is a thing. So what object is a sensor, right? So we're trying to show you this complete word family. And so, but what is nounality? Obviously, sensorality is nounality. But again, showing you that jump from know, like not, like this thing know, I know something, I'm knowledgeable, knowledge, and then I'm knowledgeable, I'm renowned. So again, that was some big, important, intuitive buildup. Sensorality is sourcenicality. So again, we changed this. Sensorality is sourcenicality, and then the scenic, again, for whatever reason, this I see. It pairs up very phonetically, right? Scenicality, the word looks like a complete word, right? The SOR, sourcenicality, then sourcenicality. The SOR is very clearly a prefix now. So sensorality is scenicality, right? Like our old, and you guys remember, these results are independent of time. So when you have a ancient Roman, I don't know if he's a philosopher, banker, but Seneca, right? Or Seneca, New York, or Attica, New York, right? These are all pieces of logic preserved through names. And so sensorality is a process. Processing metabolizes. Sensorality is metabolicality. What is metabolism? Right. I put a banana in my mouth, I chew it, and then my digestive tract assimilates that mass into the sentient mass that is Brad. What is metabolism? Is metabolism algorithmic? Science. But again, chirality, light, and metabolism, those just go in the bins of words of, we probably don't need these ones. But metabolism was the other word I was building up to say what the fuck words, light, chirality, and metabolism. Science is not performative, right? When I'm doing this derivation, and this you'll see, like, in that's one of the big things that are highlighted on my comments. Somebody will point one thing, and it's like, most of the time it's not even a valid response. But again, the guy commenting on, informal, if versus normal is just a prefix, but again, like, making the amalgamated versus integrated words, it makes a lot of sense. But it's like, the point being is, if you point out one thing, this is not a performance, right? When you go watch the Nobel Prize ceremony concert, which is hilariously fraudulent. You have your conductor up there with these huge lips, big old bug eyes. I don't know if he's some Italian dude. And he's like, we're looking to bridge the gap between science and art. Like, how you guys continue to have these science award shows is honestly funny at this point. Obviously, for the first couple ones, it fucking sucked, because it's like, you're like, hey guys, solve all this shit. And I was like, I definitely solved all this shit. And then you guys all look around because I solved that shit. But then your government friends are like, nope. And you're like, so fuck you guys for the initial ones. But now it's just hilarious. You guys can't open your mouth. Nobody can't open their mouths without demonstrating the things. And they're like, we don't know the answer to this. And your behavior demonstrates you do know the answer, and you've been explicitly instructed to not acknowledge it. All right, we're back to acknowledgement. So we're just integrating all of this experience. Really fun. You guys are all criminals to the highest level. But it's not a performance, right? When you rehearse something, it has to be perfect every time. Nobody notices this shit, right? I just got back from my cousin's wedding. Happy wedding or marriage, Jacob and Blaine. But it's like, you have this the bride and groom's family are going to be way more entrenched. The other guests are just kind of showing up for an evening, trying to support their families, their loved ones, or friends. But people have like way more involvement in certain things and care way more about certain things. And then the other guests don't even notice any of it, right? You write a song and you can go back and listen to your own music. Like, I haven't composed like a serious piece in a while. I did one meditation kind of recently, but I can go back and listen to any of my songs and see like everything that's not perfect. But the person listening to it's like, oh, this is pretty good, right? Like, they don't care. And so whether this demonstration right here, what I'm doing, whether you're an 8th grader learning how to do this or that, there is some, aspect of public speaking, talking the logic out loud, because we are a vocal species. But, right, like, me misspelling a word doesn't detract from what I'm doing logically. It just doesn't. And that doesn't detract from anybody doing anything. And so our school structure is so performance-based, right? You go study for 6 months and then you take a test. So this is not how fucking learning works, man. If you want to learn French, just stumble around with French. It's all serendipitous. Just go try different things out. And then, you have to demonstrate competence. But is it, study this, then French 2, then French 3. It's like, it's just not this big fucking performance. It's not a game. It's not really a test. You have to demonstrate competence, but competence just comes from repeated exposure. And again, if you look at my capacity with language, I just have the ability to iterate the exposure a lot longer, right? Mathematics is like the only thing you can really have exposure to doing. And for me, mathematics is logical derivation, identifying any theme, and those themes extend to language, even past language. Language being the vocalization, the structuring, because it's really, I derive from experientiality, just experience. And so the entire school structure is this remnant of the Industrial Revolution, where you have to have factory workers. And that's not how fucking learning works. So just to know how many people are just wasting their time doing nothing is profound. It is such a net detriment to the economy. No one really gives a shit about a buttress from the 1450s or the Roman emperors from 3,000 years ago. People want to have a decent fucking life. And it's just this big performance, everything's this big show. And especially for learning and demonstrating understanding, demonstrating knowledge, it's just not a performance. It just isn't. Sensorality is presentationality, performance, presentation. And so again, remember when I said present versus present, it wasn't a word, these aren't random words. We've derived that structure to just state sensorality is presentationality. Because again, present, present, we derive that whole thing, and then ationality is just suffix. Sensorality is sentational. Sentational. Sensational, sentational. And QRSTUV, showing you the letter by letter differentiation. Within these sets of differentiations, we already have languages, letters, sets of letters. Sensorality, sentates. Right, last time we had sensates, sentates. Sensorality is sentatality, totality, tatality. A chorus is an ensemble. Right, another one of these French words, clearly, but ensemble, ensemble. Sensorality, ensembles. Right, a chorus is an ensemble, a chord, one of many. Right, many notes form a chord. Many people form a personality or a humanity. And then finally for today, meritocracy, right. Hypocrite is built on right. Meritocracy is built on right. Again, a right. I have a constitutional right that is spelled R-I-T-E, not R-I-G-H-T. So that's probably going to be like the big, again, the fundamental result, I guess. I mean, it's really the fundamental result is the spelling of censor is wrong. But all the rights, like that's also wrong. But meritocracy, meritocratic. This is a word that was just used. I just started. We're going to do another book and book club behind the beautiful forevers, but like a meritocracy. And then she uses the kind of tries to use that form of the word, but meritocratic. I don't know how you would pronounce that. Again, it's cumbersome, but just it's built on right. R-I-T-E. Meritocracy is that R-I-T-E is right. And so again, big jumps as always. Again, there's no gradation. I've already proven all of these things. I'm just iterating the logic again. So thank you for watching. Please pay me my money. It is profound and extensive torture. I've begged, I've pleaded, I've done everything you could do. I'm the victim of an extensive ongoing crime committed by the government. No one gives a flying fuck, and it is torture. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.